Today we're going to look at how you can take a typical financial spreadsheet, usually in Excel, and transform that into a metric. So let's start by uploading our sample financial data. By the way, there's a number of different settings that you can choose, but we're going to stick with Excel for this example. So once it's loaded, you can see that this looks like a typical financial spreadsheet. We've got our dates across the top. We've got the account types across the left in the first column. Now, instead of pressing continue, because what we want to do is we want to reformat this, let's click on the edit button, and that's going to drop you into the modeler. Now, there's a number of settings here which we could adjust ahead of time or afterwards, but we're going to start by unpivoting this model first. So to do this, you want to unpivot every row except for the first column. And you can see that we've got a number of blanks here in the top, but then we've got our labels down the left-hand side. We've got our dates and our values as well. I'm just going to get rid of the first couple of columns of data so that it is a little cleaner. And then you can see that we're starting with licensing and services, which are our two revenue types. Let's go ahead and rename these columns so that they make a little bit more sense. So this is our month, and you can see that the formats aren't set properly either. So we're going to go ahead and modify that as well. So instead of a textual format, of course, we need to turn that into a date. Now, it may need some help finding the right date format. So, I think we had 2 days, months, and then years. Remember that the M for month has to be capitalized as a way of encoding that. And then for the values as well, it picked it up as date because the column header was a date. But we're going to change that and be currency. So now we have a model that actually works for PowerMetrics. But what's different here, and you could actually go ahead and create a metric here, but we've got a mixed number of account types. We have revenue, expenses, EBITDA, we've got total. So let's segment out only revenue. And we're going to start that by using a select statement here. So let's select the data that is in the pivoted results. So you can see that you can either select data from the raw data source or as a results reference. So using the ampersand, we're going to click the ampersand labels, which gets the data from over there. And for now, let's just pull back the labels where the labels are equal to licensing, and we'll see if that gets it. And you can see it does, but of course, services is part of revenue as well. So I'm going to put an OR statement in here. So we're going to put OR and then some brackets around that. And then an OR statement works in that you can have a comma separated list of conditions. So first of all, we say that, the labels column has to be equal to licensing, but we're also saying it could be equal to services. So you can see that our select statement is now pulling back the label under those two conditions. Now let's copy that entire thing and paste it into the next two columns. We're going to modify it slightly. So instead of bringing back labels, I want to bring back the month. And in the last column, instead of bringing back labels, we're going to do the same thing, but in this case, we want to bring back the values. And so what we've done here is we have used this select statement to only bring back our two revenue types, licensing and services. So why don't we go ahead and we're going to modify the titles here. We're going to make sure that it's set as currency. We'll do the same thing for the other columns as well. So this one, and maybe just to keep it separate, we'll call this one Rev Month so that you know which one you're referencing. And here we'll do the same thing. We'll call it Rev Type. So now we've got a nice clean data source that is in the right format, and we've only selected our two revenue types. So based on this, we can now go ahead and make a metric. Now, you could do exactly the same thing by adding more columns for expenses as well, even for COGS as a single one, and then build separate metrics from that. So let's go ahead and build our revenue metric. So we're going to choose revenue as the metric that we want to sum, and then we're going to use revenue type as the way we want to segment this data. Revenue month is our date. And keep in mind, because it's financial data, you want to summarize this on a monthly basis. And of course, revenue should be trending up. So this is all set properly. And let's go, so it's already made it. Let's go have a look at this metric and see what it looks like. Okay, and there you have it. And you can see that it's already segmented by the revenue type. You can see down in the legend below, we've got licensing and services. We could get rid of that and see the total revenue. And of course, also using all the built-in visualization types, we could completely change it and look at this as a different bar chart or as a pie chart, etc. So there you have it, going from a financial model that is not in a structured way that makes it easy to bring in data from metrics. We've reconfigured that so that now you have a discrete way of producing your metric for only your revenues. Hope that helps. Let us know if you've got any questions.